What's up guys, how you doing? Rob Sambles here. Welcome to another video. Look, I hope you guys are all doing well out there. It's a crazy time in the world right now and I hope you guys are all okay. I'm going to keep on bringing these videos to you. Don't worry, coronavirus is crazy but it is not going to stop our videos. And today we are doing another sports photography critique video. The last one went down really well. Loads of you guys said to do more of them and said to do another one. So here it is, right here we did another one for you, and then I imagine this is probably going to become a monthly thing. Anyway, going to be a great video. Let's go. So today we are critiquing more sports photos. Specifically, these sports photos that you can see going around on the screen in the background. Got those coming up one at a time. We're going to look at them and I'm going to share my thoughts. As always, they're just my thoughts. I'm not necessarily an expert in every aspect of sports photography, so it might be some stuff that I say that other people would disagree with. It's just my personal opinion. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. If you do, please take a second for me. Go hit that thumbs up, hit the like button. It only takes you a second to do it and it helps me out loads, helps out my channel. And especially for this video, the amount of likes on these videos for me are the main measure as to whether or not this is like a series that I should keep doing. So if you do like it and you want me to carry on, please do go hit that like button, because I'm using that as like a gauge for whether or not there should be another one of these videos and sort of an ongoing series. That's my intention, but if I don't feel like the interest in it is enough, it might be that we pursue something different in our videos going forwards from here. So let me know. Hit that like button to let me know. Before we get into the actual photos themselves, don't forget to check out my social media. You can find me over on Twitter at Rob Sambles Photo, and you can find me on Instagram in 3 different places. At Rob Sambles is my main kind of page right now. At Rob Sambles Sport for all of my sports photos, and at Scorchers Photog for all of my basketball specific stuff. Go check those out. Comment on something. Let me know you came from YouTube. It's always really cool to see who is crossing over the different platforms. Right, so we're going to get into these photos. I've got them loaded up right here on the laptop. We're going to go through and have a look at them one at a time and obviously share my thoughts. So let me just see who this first one is from. The first photo we have got here is from Abdel. Let's check it out. Okay, Abdel. So what have we got here? We've got football. Barcelona. Nice. So yeah, look, cool photo, right? I like the fact you got the celebration coming towards you. 2 of the guys have got their backs to you, but the celebration there is coming towards you, which I like, which is cool. You can see the guy's face. Cool, it's a hard one, this. What would I have done with this? Maybe I would have cropped it so it was more portrait and lost this guy over on the left, although he does add something to it because he's obviously walking away disappointed. Another option would have been to crop in right in close, like landscape, but in at these guys' waists. The only thing you have got here slightly is the distraction of the 2 other defenders, like in the background, kind of crossing over with their bodies, which is a bit frustrating. But overall, it's a nice photo. The angle of this, did you maybe take this from the crowd? The angle of it looks like it's kind of higher up, as opposed to a slightly lower angle on a photo, which is something which I talk about a little bit, which I always like. But nice photo though, man. Thank you. Okay, let's just keep rolling. Next one up is from Carl. All right, Carl. So, okay, cool. Right, Norwich, against Arsenal. Is that in the background? Or Chelsea? That's David Luiz, right? Depends on which season this was. What do I like? Okay, nice photo, man. I like this. This, you know what? This is actually pretty clean. Your horizon looks near enough straight, which I like. Maybe on the crop, I would have slightly brought it in on the right-hand side and slightly more space above his head because he feels a bit like he's squeezed into the frame. But otherwise, you know what? I like this photo. It's clean. It looks tack sharp. The background's pretty tidy. You got a shallow depth of field, which I like. So yeah, nice shot, Carl. I like this one, man. Okay, next photo is from David. Cool, David. Right, look, we know David, or some of you guys know David. I featured on his YouTube channel just the other day. So I like this, man. Nice one. So this is, God, what is this? This is hurling, right? I think. Yeah, man, I like this. What do you got? Tidy image. You've got the thing that we always struggle with slightly lower league sports is the backgrounds are always a bit busy. They're less clean. But you've got the shallow depth of field, right? So the background's pretty crushed, which makes it a lot more tidy. You maybe could have leveled it off slightly. It looks like, although the players are upright, it maybe looks like it needed slightly leveling in the background here. But then again, with the angle of it and especially the lean of this player here, it doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. I talk a little bit about giving players somewhere to go, and they're obviously all kind of running in sort of the direction of the left, so maybe could have had a slight more bit of space over on the left hand side. But overall, I like that image, man. Nice image. Nice, thank you. Okay, next photo we've got is from Dirk. Let's have a look. Dirk. Okay, cycling, right? Nice, nice. So the first thing I notice here, now the front of the bike looks like it's pretty tack sharp, but the guy's face and his chest here with this writing on his top maybe looks slightly out of focus. So I don't know where you focused on this image, if it was the bike or the guy, or maybe just the fact he's moving so quick that the focus struggled to keep up slightly. So that's one tiny thing. I think otherwise I maybe would have moved the crop slightly to the left, like taken out some of this space on the right hand side, because he's obviously coming towards us and to the left, which means he's going into this direction. And lastly, I would have straightened it up just ever so slightly. You see this fence on the left, like the bars of the fence aren't entirely straight with the edge of the image, so it shows that it's leaning slightly. I would have straightened that up ever so slightly. Nice image though, man. I like it. The celebration's cool. I'm guessing this guy just won a race, right? The moment's great. The expression in his face is really cool. So the actual action and the moment in the photo I really like. So nice one, Dirk. Thank you. Okay, gonna keep going here. Next photo is from Gordon. Okay, Gordon, basketball, right? God, you got a tough image here, right? Because the toughest thing with this is deciding what you do with the crop. Now, with these kinds of photos, you kind of got two options. You crop in and get the action, or you kind of go with something a bit more epic, like a bit more wide angle. Now, you've kind of gone halfway in between the two. For me, if it was wide angle, you would want to see a bit more of the basket up here. You'd want it a bit more of like a landscape shot, maybe a bit wider on the sides and take out a little bit more of this floor space in the foreground. If you were going in action, you probably would want to chop in just of him and the basket, but then you probably would need a bit more of the basket for that to make sense in the image. The defenders here and his teammate kind of looking on is quite cool as well. You're struggling a little bit, something I have all the time with basketball in the UK. It's that the crowd isn't massive behind, so it's a bit of a shame because it kind of looks like there's like a half-empty crowd there, right? Which is tough, and I get the same thing with British basketball all the time when you're trying to work out your backgrounds and get as clean a background as you could. It looks like this area of the crowd is fairly full, so maybe if you sat further round to your right here, you might be able to get a background with slightly more crowd, and especially if you've got a shallow depth of field so that this is less in focus, it might then be that you get a bit more of a nicer image. But I like it, man. Clean, tidy, sharp, the action's good, the player looks entirely in focus. Nice, I like it. Cheers, Gordon. Okay, next one up. I think we've got some more basketball. This is from Jared. Okay, Jared. Man, nice photo. I like this one. Really sharp. The ball's nice and sharp. The player's face, his jersey, the action's good. I like it. Not too much I'm going to say about this one, to be honest with you. I do like it. You maybe, of course, you had an option to crop slightly wider. I don't know if you had that in the image or not. And get the guy's legs in the photo so there's a bit more kind of movement and a bit more action. With this kind of photo, you can't necessarily tell. Like, was that like a high-flying dunk, or has he just kind of jumped up and popped it in from close to the rim? You can't necessarily tell when it's cropped in this close because you don't have much context for the image. But the image itself is nice, and I like it. Sharp, crisp, action, clearly see the player. So I like that one. Cheers, Jared. Okay, next one is from Mark. All right, Mark. So football again. Nice, man. I like this. Nice. Good celebration, right? You got it come straight towards you. You can see almost all the faces in the celebration, and the fact you can't see this guy in the middle's face doesn't matter because the main focal point here is this guy coming over the top of the image. I like that. I like this guy in the middle celebrating, the guy on the right. That's overall a nice image, man. I like it. Maybe it's a bit narrow in the upright, in the crop. I don't know what aspect ratio that is. You maybe could have gone just a tiny bit wider on the image and then chopped out a tiny little bit of this down the bottom here, because it looks like it's a bit of a long kind of thin image. But overall, I like that. The image, the action, the focus is real nice. You could You could bring up the shadows just like slightly, just in this area of the photo here. But overall, I like that image, man. Really nice. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, next photo is from Marcus.
Okay, Marcus, I like this, man. So this, I guess this is like indoor hockey, is it? I guess you would call that. There's probably a more official name, and I apologize for that. Cool. So what do I like about this image? The action is cool. You've got a little bit of motion blur, right? This stick here has got a bit of motion blur going on. This foot, slightly by the looks of it, but I would imagine that this is a really fast-moving sport. Although I would have thought if it was that fast-moving, I perhaps would have expected this ball here to be to have some blur in it. So I'm not quite sure. It could just be where that's further away than the stick. So maybe the stick is much closer towards us and it's slightly out of focus because of that. The actual action in the image is nice. I like the way the defender is coming in. There's clearly some like impact or something going on here that you can tell. Background's fairly tidy. You're suffering from the same thing I talked about before, where there's a bit of an empty crowd over here. Over on the left-hand side of this image, this player here, where his stick is chopped off, then this defender in the background is chopped like halfway through. It's slightly distracting. It's a shame that you didn't have something slightly wider on the left-hand side so you could have incorporated that. The image is straight, I think. The problem you've got slightly here is this like board or hoarding or whatever it is in the bottom right of the image. Again, is a little bit distracting, so maybe if you could have got slightly further forwards or slightly over this so you didn't capture it in your image, that would have been cool. But I know what it's like, right? If you're at a sharp angle and you turn, sometimes you do capture a little bit of hoarding into an image, which unfortunately can affect it. But I like it, Marcus. That's a nice shot. Nice.
Okay, keep going. Next one here is from Montes.
Okay, Montes. Okay, man, cool. So, look, there's a couple of bits with this photo. It's a nice image, right? I like the action. You've got the timing of it great. I mean, look, the ball is, like, right on the bat there, hey? You're going to struggle with this because that ball and that bat, I know with baseball or softball, whatever you call this, I know that is moving fast. So for you to get a shutter speed that would have frozen those two things would have been really tough. But the actual moment is nice, and the timing where you've got the ball actually like making contact with the bat like that is great. I would have straightened it up slightly. The player's obviously leaning backwards, but these kind of bars in the background really kind of almost emphasize the fact that the image isn't up straight. So I would have straightened out the image a little bit. Shame you chopped his feet off. Now, the trouble is there is not only his feet chopped off, they're also like behind, I'm not even sure what this is, some kind of railing or something. And then I don't know where, I would have guessed this was a fan, but then the fact he looks like he's the wrong side of the fence to be a fan, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. But I guess maybe where you've taken this photo from has made it a bit of a challenge because your background is quite distracting. This flag up here is cool, it adds to the image, but it also distracts slightly. I think ironically for me, the mesh fence actually makes the background a bit cleaner because you can see like these people up here in the background, you can't really see them because the fence almost gives you that clean background. But it does need straightening up. The crop's slightly different with the feet, and maybe a slight change of position from yourself in terms of where you're taking the photo from, because this railing unfortunately just gets in the way a little bit there. Thank you, man. Appreciate you sending it in.
Okay, straight into the next one from Paul.
Paul, nice, man. I like this shot. So, funny enough, just what I was talking about in the previous image, cricket's the same. Hard to get everything frozen because you need a really fast shutter speed. And the ball, in particular, I know is travelling at some serious pace. So, the fact you've got a little bit of motion blur in that, not surprising. And actually, for me, with the ball in this type of sport, it doesn't matter so much because it emphasises the fact it's moving so quick. If you had that frozen dead still, it would maybe just look like a ball sat on the grass. The action's great, right? The moment is clearly this guy has just hit this ball towards us, which is cool. Your background's really nice and clean, which I like. There's nothing distracting there. Shallow depth of field. You could have straightened ever so slightly because the cricket posts and this fence post here show that it just needs to be slightly more upright. And you maybe could have cropped a little bit more on the left. So rather than being sort of a square, a bit like you've got, you could have trimmed the left slightly. I don't know if you did crop on the right. You could have had yourself a bit more space on the right maybe. But overall, I like this photo, man. Real good kind of point of action. It tells the story of what's happened. We know, looking at this guy just hit this ball towards us. I like it, real clean, real sharp. I love the expression in the face, like the focus and almost a bit of relief maybe that he's managed to hit the ball, which I quite like. The angle of the bat up there above his head, not blocking his face or anything, I really like. So loads that I love about this image. Thank you, man. That's great.
Another image. Next one is from Richard.
Okay, Richard. Football. Nice, man. Okay, cool. So, yeah, look, I like this again. First thing I'm going to say, it's been a theme through these critiques, but it needed slightly levelling up. You can see by the edge of this kind of dugout thing, and then by this post up here that they slightly aren't entirely. You can see a bit here as well on the left. They're slightly not parallel with the edges of the image, which just throws off the straightness of it a bit, with this bar fence coming across as well. So it needed slightly straightening. The actual image I like. It's sharp, it's in focus. You've got both the attacker and the defender facing towards us, which is really important. Maybe on the crop, you could have gone slightly more space on the left and a bit less space on the right because they look like they're moving that way. But overall, I like this image. It's sharp, it's clean, it demonstrates a good bit of action. There's nothing wrong with that photo at all. You certainly shouldn't get rid of it or discount it. It's a photo you would include in a set. Just those couple of little bits probably would have improved it ever so slightly for me. But I like it, Richard. Thank you for sending it in.
And I think probably our last one for today's video. This one is from Trevor.
Okay, Trevor. Thank you, man. Look, long-time fan of the channel, Trevor. I know, I've seen you on my Instagram, YouTube, everything. I appreciate that. So, look, thanks for sending this in, man. I love this. Some motorsport, right? We haven't looked at motorsport just yet, so really cool. Look, loads of stuff I love about this, right? It's really sharp. It's in focus. The action's nice. You can see the movement in the image because the guy's coming around that corner. I don't think I would have done much different with the crop. You've done exactly what I would try and do, where you've given the guy space to move into on the left. If this was cropped any closer, you can't kind of see where he's going, which is important to me. I like that. So I think the crop is really nice. The angle of the image is cool. He's leaning, obviously, because he's coming around that bend. The good thing about motorsports is sometimes the rules of it being level kind of go out the window. If you guys look on my Instagram page, on my @RobSamble_Sports, some of my motorsports I actually deliberately do at some really steep angles and totally turn my horizon off being level because it adds to the image. I think it adds something to it. So sometimes I do that deliberately. So you could have done something like that here if you'd wanted to, but I like it how you've done it. The only slight thing for me, it looks like there's a fair bit of noise over here in the left of the image. Now, that could be a few things. It looks like maybe it was raining because the ground here looks a bit wet, so that might have caused it. Otherwise, it could be maybe that you've added a little bit too much contrast to the image and it's made it slightly grainy. Because assuming this was during the middle of the day, I would have thought you wouldn't have struggled too much with noise because you shouldn't have had to have your ISO level up too high. But that's my only slight observation because you can kind of see it and it kind of crosses over slightly across the guy's face as well. It just looks a little bit grainy here on the helmet. But look, overall, I really like that image. Nice, vibrant colours, really great moment. The crop's really smart. So yeah, look, I like that one, Trevor. Good image, thank you.
Cool. So, look, guys, some awesome photos, right? Thank you so much for sharing them with me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope no one was too offended by my feedback. Feel free to comment in below on the video if you guys have got any other feedback for any of those photos that perhaps I missed. This is very much about a community, right? So it's important that we bring that together. On the subject of community, I've got a really cool announcement coming on our next video to do with a bit of a community thing that we're going to try and set up. And in line with that, over the next few weeks, as per everybody else, I'm spending a lot more time in my house. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Trying to do the right thing. And so in line with that, I'm going to try to really focus a little bit more time into this YouTube channel. That is likely going to mean 2 videos a week, which hopefully is a good thing. And it's also going to mean a few other bits that we do as well, in line with that community piece that I just mentioned, because we got quite a few subscribers now. We just very recently crossed 2,000, as a lot of you guys will know, which is crazy to me, but we crossed 2,000, and that is fantastic. And in line with that, I know I've got a few real, like, hardcore subscribers who've been with me since I had, like, 10 subscribers. And I want us to try to be able to create a bit of a community kind of thing going on, which I'm going to talk about in our next video, because I think that will be really exciting. Speaking of 2,000 subscribers, it's crazy, but about 60% of my views on my videos come from people who haven't subscribed to my channel. So if you're one of those people, please do take a second, go hit that subscribe button, because we've got loads more videos to come, and I'm sure you will enjoy them. If you don't, hey, look, you can unsubscribe in the future. I'm not going to be offended by that, but please, for now, take a second, go and subscribe if you're new, because we've got loads more videos to come. Everybody else, please take a second to go hit that thumbs up button, as I said earlier. It means a lot to me, and it helps out my channel. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to see you all on the next video.